You can buy yourself flowers, you can be empowered and be your own person and still miss the fact that you had a meaningful connection. Pretending that independence can completely replace the love and the connection and the vulnerability of like a meaningful relationship seems like strength, or she's trying to display it as strength, but it's really welcome to the Marriage Magnet podcast, where it's not just about attracting the one, it's about becoming the one. I'm your host, Nechama Phillips, and here we focus on growth, high standards, and creating an intentional life and love through self-development. Navigate your dating journey with clarity and confidence, because marriage is not just a box you check off, it's your life. Welcome back to the Marriage Magnet podcast. Today I am drinking an iced matcha, one of my other favorite drinks, and I am so excited to be doing this episode because this is actually an idea I had for the longest time. Had no idea that I would do it in a podcast form, but just, you know me and music. I have been a music lover for my whole life, and just listening to some of the songs that are these like famous pop songs and talking about love and life, and just sometimes being like, wow, that's really unhealthy, or that is like a really bad lesson on love that they're teaching in this song, or that maybe like, I like that she has this perspective. I don't know if people listen to the lyrics as deeply as I do, but being someone who writes her own lyrics is just something that I'm always like paying close attention to. And sometimes it is wild to see the messages that are being portrayed in these songs. And I thought it would be an awesome idea to break down famous pop songs and just discuss like what we can learn, what we should not learn, and just get a better understanding of what messages we can be and should be internalizing and which ones we should be definitely avoiding. Speaking of music, I actually just filmed a couple of music videos of my own live in studio last week. I did a couple of them and it was really fun. I'm so excited to share this new music with you, this new album. It's been a long time in the making. I think I started November of 2022, I believe. Yeah, it's at least been 2.5 years. I have one studio session left and I will be done. So you will definitely be hearing some more music from me soon. And for now, let's jump into this episode. I've asked you guys on Instagram to give me song suggestions. I actually said, tell me the most unhealthy, toxic songs you've ever heard that are famous, and let's break it down. I don't think I actually even explained what I was going to be doing with it, but you sent me a lot of really good suggestions, and a lot of them actually were doubles and triples. Like a lot of you had the same idea, so that was cool. Today I chose a suggestion that actually might seem like it's on the healthier side, and I wanted to start with this one because I think it's so interesting how when this song came out, it was just like, oh wow, empowerment, this is amazing for women, and I just think it has a lot of really unhealthy things within it that I want to bring out, how in a way it can be two sides of the same coin, like empowerment and then the detrimental stuff that can come along with that. So today we're going to be breaking down the song Flowers by Miley Cyrus. This song has been praised as like self-love anthem after heartbreak, best song ever, and I think it's a great song, but I think it has a lot of unhealthy ideas in it, and I wanted to highlight those. When we start to frame independence as better than connection or as in place of connection, that's when things start to get dangerous. So I'm going to go through actually the lyrics, go through line by line, and let's talk about what she actually is trying to say and maybe what we can take away from it. So verse 1 says, "We were good, we were gold, kind of a dream that can't be sold." So right off the bat, this lyric is highlighting like the idealization of a relationship. That's something that many of us do, especially when it's over, right? But here's the thing, when you're in a truly healthy connection and you're in a truly great relationship, it's not always ideal, right? It's not always that fantasy that is portrayed in lyrics or in movies. It's more so a real relationship that can be amazing, but also is just human and it's not perfect. Healthy relationships don't ask you to sacrifice yourself, to sell yourself short. They actually encourage you to grow together and as your own person, like with your own identity. And with this lyric, especially that she's saying that, you know, this relationship is over, when she's saying it was perfect, it was amazing, it was the best thing ever, like, was it? Or would it still be going on if it was that great, right? It's so easy to see something as perfect in hindsight. And I think we do this so much when we break up with someone, when something doesn't work out, we idealize and fantasize about what we think it was and kind of paint it a certain way. And that's not actually the reality. She says, "We were right till we weren't, built a home and watched it burn, which is definitely very poetic, but it's saying that the relationship was doomed. It's like it was right and then we weren't. And what's interesting is that she doesn't talk about anything going wrong specifically, and saying that something was right until it wasn't is like, I don't know, did a flip switch? Like, did we just decide one day to the next, like it was right and then it wasn't? Like, who's making it right and who's making it wrong? What happened? Like, did anything happen? It just sounds like she's going very much based off of feeling, right? It's like, it was right, it felt right, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, which is definitely not a recipe for a healthy relationship. We have to stay through that commitment every single day, no matter how we feel. And we know that we made that commitment for a reason. And then as we fluctuate, as all human beings do, we hold our commitment as the most important thing, no matter how we feel. And that helps us ride those waves and those ups and downs, because inevitably life and relationships all have them. It just makes me wonder, like, did both partners try and communicate? Did they work something out when something went wrong? Or it was like one day it was right and one day it wasn't? It just seems a little bit dramatic and extreme, which maybe is just being used for poetic purposes, but still, that's what stuck out to me. Okay, then the pre-chorus goes, I didn't want to leave you, I didn't want to lie, started to cry, but then remembered I. Has a lot in those couple of lines, but basically it sounds a lot like emotional deflection. It's saying like, I didn't want to leave, but you did leave, or did he make the decision to leave? Or like, you didn't want to leave, but you did, because it didn't feel right. Like, where is this coming from? And it also saying I didn't want to leave shows that there's an element of loss here, and that she's not as empowered and happy to be alone as she claims in the song, right? Because she's saying like there's definitely a sadness to it, but then also pivoting to like, I remembered myself, sounds like she's denying the depth of what was lost, right? So now she's like, I don't even care really about the relationship. And also saying, basically making a statement that you can't have an I in a relationship, that you can't be yourself in a relationship. And that is so not true. It's like, you don't have to leave a relationship to remember yourself. That sounds like the relationship must have been like enmeshed, codependent, like, you know, not healthy, or else you wouldn't have to leave something in order to be yourself and to remember yourself. I also think in general, this song is lacking that grieving process, that part of a breakup where she's not really tapping into her emotion. She's basically just like, I remembered myself and now I'm good, right? And I can do all these things for myself, like we'll get to in the chorus. And I don't need a man. I don't need anyone. I'm good. And again, those things can be great when they're really cultivated and they're true for you, that you feel powerful and you feel good about yourself. All great things, but not in place of grieving, not in place of acknowledging what you've lost, not in place of a healthy connection. And the chorus, I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand. That's like really the wrench there. And of course, this chorus is catchy and empowering, and to some degree it's true. Like, yeah, you can buy yourself flowers, you can enjoy your own life, you can be fulfilled. I'm all for, right? Building a life that we love intentionally with joy, purpose, and fulfillment, regardless of our marital status. But to say that that is a replacement for love, and that's a replacement for connection, and that you can only do that once I'm hurt, it's like, okay, now I'll be myself because I lost something that I really cared about. It's like pretending that you didn't actually want that relationship. You're saying, no, I'm better off myself anyway. It's a little bit of a lot of denial, basically. Like, you can talk to yourself, you can buy yourself flowers, you can be empowered and be your own person and still miss the fact that you had a meaningful connection, and still miss someone and still want connection and still value. Like, I can buy myself flowers, but I would rather get it from someone else. I'd rather get it from someone who loves me. Like, why do I have to say, like, this is the best thing ever, this is the most ideal thing you can do, is to be alone and only treat yourself and never have anyone who loves you? Like, that is the most ideal. And basically that's what she is saying in this song. Pretending that independence can completely replace the love and the connection and the vulnerability of like a meaningful relationship seems like strength, or she's trying to display it as strength, but it's really avoidance. I can take myself dancing and I can hold my own hand. Yeah, I can love me better than you can. I think this is really where the immaturity shines through. And I love Miley, by the way. It sounds like I'm bashing her, but she's literally, I think, one of the best vocalists of all time. I've loved her for years. I think her music is amazing. But yeah, just being real, dissecting these lyrics. So I think a healthy person would not view love as, or being yourself, like love as a competition, basically. Because if you can say that you can hold your hand better, whatever that means, right? And you can take yourself dancing better. I can do things that you won't understand. It's like a competition of like, who can love me better, me or you? But why can't it be both? Why can't you love yourself? You should love yourself and appreciate yourself and know how to, be alone in that sense and feel empowered in who you are and want someone to love you and want that connection. And it's totally not a contradiction. And she's making it sound like it's a competition. Like, I can love me better than you can. Who made this competition? And it's interesting because if you think about it, independence is not the opposite of a relationship and of a connection. It really could and should be the foundation for it. If you are independent in who you are and you have what to bring to the table and you are secure within yourself, you're gonna have a much better relationship. It's really the foundation, like, I talk about in my program and, I talk about all day, like the self-awareness, the self-acceptance, the clarity within self is what you bring to a relationship that gives it that strong foundation. It's not the opposite or in replacement of it. Paint my nails cherry red, match the roses that you left. So this one I think is just like a little bit romanticizing the past again and like glamorizing pain in a way. It's like, I still want to remember you. I also don't, because I just want to be myself, but like I still want to like hold on to something. And it almost sounds like she's trying to put on a show that she's fine, right? It's like, I'm gonna paint my nails. Ooh. My nails are actually red today. Paint my nails red and just like match the roses to show that like my nails being red are the same thing as the roses that you gave me. Like it's trying to like symbolically equate it basically. And it's also interesting because it shows that again, she's romanticizing the connection in some way, which then the rest of the song is saying that she has no interest in remembering this relationship and this is not even like what she ultimately wants, because like she's so glad that I didn't want to leave, right? I didn't want to leave the relationship, but I'm so glad that I left because I can understand me better, I can live my life better, I can hold my own hand, I can buy myself flowers, I can do it better than you. So it keeps going back and forth between showing like the denial of the pain that she's really, really in, because she is so set on saying I'm missing this relationship and I'm sad that it's over, and also me being alone is better, which is, it doesn't line up. No remorse, no regret, I forgive every word you said. So that's great. Forgiveness is healthy if you're actually at that place, right? If you actually are. Doesn't sound like she is from this song, but I can't say. So it's also important to acknowledge that forgiveness is not just ignoring the pain. Forgiveness is not just pretending that things don't exist. It's like fully acknowledging it and being able to say like, it's okay. We're both human. We both made this decision for a reason. If that's what she would be saying, that would be a lot better. Otherwise, you're really just convincing yourself that you're fine when you're not. The bridge says, I can love me better over and over. And it's meant to be like an anthem for empowerment, like this whole song is, but it really sounds, again, like a form of denial. And this is just driving the point home even further. She keeps saying, I can love me better, I can love me better. And it really sounds, it's like almost the more you say it, the more it sounds like you're putting up a shield to vulnerability and saying, I was hurt so badly from this relationship that I didn't want to leave, that I just have to pretend that I can do it all myself and I can do it all better and I don't need anyone, because if I try and need someone, then maybe this will happen again and I'll be in pain again. So I just want to avoid it altogether by just leaning into the independence so hard and so extreme that I don't ever put myself in this position again. The best, happiest, healthiest relationships are not a replacement for self-worth and self-love. They're really, again, the foundation of it. I am coming to this relationship, loving myself, knowing who I am, knowing my worth, and bringing that to the relationship, and then having the love and connection for each of us on top of that. Real strength is saying, I can love myself, I do love myself, and I can allow someone else to love me too. All in all, this song, Flowers by Miley Cyrus, is definitely a cultural anthem of self-empowerment. And I still believe it can be felt in that way from what the song is trying to portray. But when you look a little bit deeper, you see that there are a lot of things in here that if we practice these ideas, we may be putting ourselves in a worse off position, and that true empowerment is not this extreme, variety of self independence that a lot of women today are showing, right? That like hyper independence and don't need a man kind of thing, where it's like, how can I create a life where I feel good about myself and I feel empowered to create the life that I want and to live in a happy, joyful, fulfilling way. And also still admit that I would love to be loved. I would love a relationship. That is my goal. That is what I'm seeking. I do want marriage and family. I mean, if you do, right? And I think a lot of us here do, right? So it's, how can I keep that as a goal without thinking that it needs to be one or the other? And I think that's the most important distinction, is realizing that that self-love and independence is not a replacement for a relationship, and both can exist and should exist together. And if you don't have it yet, then for sure, cultivate your own self-worth and self-love. That's what you can do. And that's going to help the relationship when it does come. If you like this episode, definitely let me know, and let me know what other song suggestions you have of other pop songs that we can break down the lyrics and discuss the concepts and ideas behind them. I kind of want to make this like a series where it's like maybe once a month or whatever, every few episodes we do another pop song. So I'm really excited about this. If you are ready to become this love within yourself and therefore attract the right person, a healthy love, so that you can have the meaningful relationship that you are craving and create the marriage and family of your dreams, you know where to find me. Please give this video a like if you're on YouTube, and leave a comment below if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure to leave this podcast a review if you like it. Share it with a friend. It really helps enable this podcast to reach more women like you. And check out the description or the show notes for more information on any of my offers. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks, guys. Bye.